Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear student, we meet again in this part. This part will talk the example of assessment, and we like to try to assess a language skill. We'll discuss about the language skill assessment, especially speaking assessment. What is speaking assessment? Speaking assessment is a means to check whether speaking, teaching, learning processes has been successfully conducted or not. If you like to know, you teach your students speaking skill and then we'll check their understanding, their skill to speak, then please conduct speaking assessment. According to Brown, 2004, speaking assessment possesses five basic type. The first one is imitative assessment, the second one is intensive one, the third one is responsive, and the fourth one is interactive, and the fifth one is extensive. In this part, probably we'll discuss two of them. The first one is imitative, and then the second one is intensive one. What is imitative speaking assessment? Imitative speaking assessment commonly to test pronunciations of words, phrases, and sentences. How to pronounce words, how to pronounce phrases, and how to pronounce sentences. This is commonly called as imitative procedure of assessment, speaking assessment. Then, if you assess that kind of skill, how will you score? Let's say, for instance, you assess your student to pronounce word, then you have to score that one. The score you can have a look here. You just differentiate into three levels: 0, 1, and 2. Here is called as holistic rubric to score your imitative speaking assessment. If 0, maybe the student do not speak any at all. If 1, you score 1. If just partially correct, and if 2, it is acceptable and good pronunciation. And how does the assessment look like? You can have a look here in the link. Later, you can open that one, and please have a look. After that, you can discuss, and if you have any question, you can contact me. The next one is intensive speaking assessment. What is tested in intensive speaking assessment? In intensive speaking assessment, usually a short form of oral language are tested to show the competence of using grammar, phrases, word, phonological element, as well as the combination of these components. And how to conduct intensive speaking assessment? I think there are several ways. The first, we call, if we refer to Brown have a name as correct responses. In this type of the test, usually, if it is in the form of listening recorded test, then the test taker will listen to certain instruction. For instance, tell me about your home. After listening to that kind of instruction, then the test taker will explain about their home. Such kind of condition, such kind of test is called as directed response. And this one included in intensive speaking assessment. The next one is reading aloud. Intensive speaking to test the student ability on phonological elements and so on. The tester will ask the test taker to read aloud certain text. For example, in the slide here, I think you can have a look, the reading aloud, and the example, this text. When you read text loudly, it can be tested. whether you pronounce well and you have a good intonation and so on. And how to score such kind of thing? Usually it will be rated in terms of fluency and pronunciation. If you pronounce well, and then you will score high, and fluency well, then you will score high. Otherwise, if your fluency low, then you will score low as well. The next way to conduct intensive assessments, speaking assessment, is using a dialogue or sentence completion or oral questionnaire. In a dialogue, if it is in a dialogue, then the test will be in the form of a kind of a conversation. Let's say there is a recording or maybe an interview asking, may I help you? And then you have to respond that one in the form of dialogue. And then you explain. You will answer every question provided by the interviewer if it is in the form of dialogue, or the one that the partner becoming the partner of your dialogue. You answer. This is the test using dialogue. Or maybe sentence completion. Sentence completion, there will be an unfinished sentence, then you have to continue orally. This is sentence completion. And then, besides sentence completions and also oral questionnaire, it is about the same as sentence question. We can test the student intensive speaking assessment using picture cue task. There's some picture, let's say there is a picture to test the minimal pair, the word and let's say from shape and shape, like in the picture here you have, there is a picture sheep and there is picture shape, and then you have look the picture, you see the picture first, and then you pronounce the word. This is called as picture cue task. And the last one, usually in intensive speaking assessment, we use translation, but in the sentence level. It means that you will just translate a sentence, not the longer one. So in intensive speaking, just at the sentence level translation. So this is the example of assessing language skill. It is assessing speaking, and we have discussed two, immediate and intensive assessment of speaking skill. I think that's all for this session, and we'll meet again in the next session. We'll discuss another topic. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.